mix. You know, somewhere between 5, 6 seed until Klay comes back 100%, and then they'll be ready to make their move.
All right, Nick, no Kevin Durant. Klay's not coming back for a while, at least. You still think, and are you buying that the Warriors will be in the mix for a championship?
No, not for a championship. I think Vegas has about right, 9th. I think there will be 2 or 3 teams in the East that have more wins than them, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and then we'll see who the third best team in the East is, if Durant comes back early, whomever. And then 5 or 6 teams in the West that will be better than them. Now, by the end of the year, assuming Klay's back, could they be an incredibly dangerous first-round opponent for any of those top teams in the West? Absolutely. Are Steph, Klay, and Draymond still as formidable a trio as anyone has in the NBA? Sure. But the reason they didn't win the title last year, in addition to injuries, was the slow decay of their defense. And that defense is going to be even worse this year. Over the last 5 years, here's the Warriors' ranks offensively. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? Here's the ranks defensively. 1, 4, 2, 8, 10. You saw the year before this, the defense lag a bit. Maybe it was just because they had coasted to a championship the year before. They weren't as locked in. They were able to ratchet up in the playoffs. This year, they weren't able to ratchet up in the regular season or the playoffs except for moments. That defense is not going to be better with Iguodala gone, with D'Angelo Russell out there, with Klay Thompson when he comes back not being able to move laterally as well as we'd seen him in the past. So this can be a dangerous team, but not a championship team. And that's assuming, by the way, the personalities work well in the locker room, which with D'Angelo making $27 million and Draymond making 18, I'm not certain of that component either.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Michael Thompson, too, man. I used to watch him in college. When he's at the University of Minnesota, he used to wear this because he's from the Bahamas. He used to wear this, like, beaded necklace. When he was playing, they allowed him to wear that. But this is a father talking about his son. All right, there's no, when you look at that, the historic, how good they were historically, offensively and defensively. It just wasn't all these guys out there passing, moving, and everything. This is one of the best collection of offensive, defensive teams that we've seen. And now all of a sudden they lost Kevin and Klay's out, and oh no, we're just going to keep going. No, it doesn't happen like this. This historic run is over with. Their chance of a championship is over with until they get at least another player. Like, they're not going to go win a championship with their roster. Even I'll give Klay coming back 100%. They're still going to struggle with the defensive end. They're going to struggle rebounding the basketball. They're going to struggle with Steph. What position does he play when Klay comes back? Because he can't play off the ball, because if you have all 3 of those guards on, they're too small. Like, I don't believe in the West now with the competition. You talking about them being a tough out. All the teams are a tough out. Any team that makes it in the West is going to be tough. So, no, the championship aspirations, as far as I'm concerned, are over in this short window for Golden State.
Can't the Warriors, though, hang their hat on the fact that, remember we talked last season how well they were actually playing when KD was out, whether they needed KD. We were having these conversations. They figured out a way to all step up, maybe not completely
But it's not that team anymore, though.
Well, eventually Klay's going to come back, and I know AD's not there.
But that's a big, I know. I mean, that's the best plus-minus of anyone on the Warriors in this 5-year stretch, Andre Iguodala. Now, there's some noise in that rather than signal as far as who he was playing with, when he was playing. But he was incredibly important in the postseason. I mean, Game 6 against the Rockets without Kevin Durant, 5 of 6 from 3, Andre Iguodala. His ability to guard the opposing team's best perimeter player, like, that is important. Sean Livingston this year wasn't good for them, but in the past he had been good for them in the postseason. But when we talk about the best teams in basketball, the top 10 teams, who has a worse front court than Golden State? The Lakers got Anthony Davis, right? The Clippers have, they have Montrezl Harrell at center, but they also, Paul George or Kawhi, one of them's playing power forward, one of them's playing one of their big man positions. You go down, the Jazz have Rudy Gobert along with 2 dead-eye shooters in the front court. Go down the list. Like, when you're the Warriors and it's Draymond and then who? Kevon Looney? Who you got for $5 million per, Willie Cauley-Stein, who you got for the mid-level. Like, the big people in the playoffs will eat this team up. Now, again, I think they absolutely could make the second round and throw a scare into a team maybe in the second round. But they're not going to make their 6th straight finals. They're not going to be a worse team with this level of fatigue that then makes their 6th straight finals. That's, to me, that window is closed for this season. As Chris said, could it open back up the season after this?
Sure.
Absolutely, but not this year.
I think people forget how important Iggy was to this team, especially down the stretch last year. All right, let's get back to James Harden. He recently reunited with his buddy Russell Westbrook in Houston. The two not only played together way back when as members of the Thunder, they played together way back when as kids for the Boys and Girls Club in LA. There has been a lot of talk around how these two will fit with each other. However, no one had publicly heard from Harden until now. Take a listen.
I mean, I'm excited, man. It's a new chapter, but I know he's excited. He's been in Oklahoma City for 11 years, so it's a new chapter for him, and we're welcoming him with open arms. And I mean, it's going to work. It's that trust factor, you know. I trust him, he trusts me, and you know, obviously with the group that we already have, and you know, the things that we've already accomplished, it should be an easy transition for him, just to, you know, be incorporated right in, and things should be on the go. When you have talent like that, it works itself out. You know, it's no, you know, you communicate and you go out there and you compete, and possession by possession, you figure things out. Throughout the course of the season, you figure things out, and that's just what it is, you know. But when you have talent, you have guys with IQ, you got guys that are willing to sacrifice, it always works itself out.
Well, of course, Harden has to be all in on the move right now. This is the team this coming season. Are you buying what James Harden is saying and the reason he's saying it, though, CC?
Yeah, I'm buying that right now. Yeah, he believes that. And he's going to try to do everything that he can. And they do have a rapport. They do have a history together. But I think the thing that's important is James Harden's got a lot of respect for Russ. And that's what makes situations like this work. Like, he's not expecting it immediately. Yeah, we love each other off the court. We do some stuff together. But playing basketball, we got to figure it out. Possession by possession, game by game. Once you get to the All-Star break, figuring out what we're going to do, that little stretch before we get to the playoffs. Also, how are they going to play in the playoffs? Like, this is going to be a question we're going to be asking all season. And when they start the playoffs, can they do this in the playoffs? Like, yes, these are two guys whose style you would think would be like oil and water. Both of them hold the ball a lot. Both of them isolate a lot. How are they going to operate on the court with the coach who said, we're not going to do anything different? So I can't grant them a whole bunch of, you know something, they're going to have great chemistry. They're going to have this because from a style standpoint, there's a tremendous contrast in how they both like to play offensive basketball and on the defensive end. Who's going to sacrifice on the defensive end? Who's going to guard the point guard? Who's going to guard the shooting guard? So this is going to be an ongoing, same question. It's going to be a good one in 3 months, in 6 months. If they get into a critical series, it's going to be a great question. So I don't know what's going to happen, but my biggest concern is not with the two players. My biggest concern is with the coach. What does he orchestrate to be able to help them build this relationship on the court?
And as far as what the coach could orchestrate, I thought a different coach, Coach David Thorpe, presented an idea in an article this weekend that I thought was really interesting, which was, what if the Rockets ask Russ to play the role Draymond plays for the Warriors offensively, meaning catch the ball not at the three-point line, but at that high post area, catch a free throw line extended, wheel and deal from there. Like, there are ways. It's like, oh, well, that's really interesting with his passing, his ability to get to the basket, his ability prior to this season to hit that mid-range shot. I do think there are ways.
Question, though.
Yes.
This will be my question. So when Russ rebounds the basketball at a high level, he's going to get 8 or 9 rebounds a game.
Yep.
All right? You want him to give the ball to a center? You want him to give the ball to a forward? Because every guard, since they were little, and Russ has been taught, once I get the ball, it's my option to go. So you getting ready to retrain me?
No, well, how they run, I would imagine if Russ gets defensive rebounds, they go. Russ take it and go. So that is an adjustment because this is a team that played at a slow pace. This is a team that wasn't get up and go, and it would, whoever got the rebound, pitch it to Harden, let him dribble 1,000 times. Like, no doubt about that. But the reason that I have some level of optimism for this is not just because of, if you bet on talent, Russ is right now more talented than Chris Paul was, but because maybe this is naive of me. But for Russ and Harden, they've accomplished everything except for the one thing. They've accomplished everything individually except for high-level team success. Neither one of them have been to a finals since they played together, since they were both deferring to a better player in Kevin Durant, since before they were first-team All-NBA, league MVP guys. So do they have the self-awareness to know that we've both won scoring titles, we both won assist titles, we both won league MVP, we've both broken records that people thought in this league were unbreakable. In NBA history, there have been 15 50-point triple-doubles. 6 the entirety of the NBA history, 9 by Harden and Russ individually the last 3 seasons. They've done all that. And they've been going home early. Russ been going home in the first round 3 years in a row. Harden's only made the conference finals 1 time. Do they have enough awareness of that to say, okay, we both have to give some, with more give going on Russ's behalf because Harden is the better player? That will be the test of the Rockets season. How self-aware are they? And Chris's question, can the coach impress upon them, this is what we need to do to win?
CC, you heard what Harden said there at the end. When you have talent like this, it all sort of works itself out. I wonder what's more important at this high level of basketball, chemistry or talent? The Celtics, when Kyrie was out, just really had chemistry. They made it work. Now you have a team that's got a lot of talent. Where do each fall?
It really depends on the coach. A coach can really determine, can I coach talented players? I'm concerned about the coach there, not just because I just want to bang on the coach. Brad Stevens, how did he do with talent? He didn't do as well with more talented. Most coaches aren't like Bobby Knight and are going to try to, you know something, my system is more powerful than any talent. Coaches will tell you, 99% of them, give me the most talent that I can get. But the problem is our talent overlaps. We have the talent to dribble the basketball. These guys are number 1 and 2 in possession of the basketball. Yep. And you talk about if Harden's going to play off the ball, if Russ is going to play off the ball. Both of their stats are awful as far as them playing off the ball. Harden had, what, 500 threes last year where he dribbled the ball 7 times. During them 7 dribbles, what is Russ supposed to do? Right. Russ was one of the worst as far as shooting 400 three-pointers. So what's he supposed to do? Like, there is a huge problem from a style standpoint. So, yes, I'd like to have talent, but I like to have that talent dispersed around because I believe that Russ's talent is going to hurt Eric Gordon. And Eric Gordon is emerging as their second best offensive player. So now what does he do? So I don't believe in some of the things that Nick's saying because Harden is the better player. Russ didn't wake up this morning thinking that. So, yeah, there are people who are self-aware. Most of the time, they're not great athletes because they don't have to be self-aware. Look at all the things we've seen with Russ the last couple years that would say, oh, he's not really aware. So we're getting ready to see. There's going to be a major compromise, I believe, by Harden because it's Harden's team. Harden didn't get traded to Houston. It's his team, and he's coming off the stronger seasons, and he's the best player.
And listen, and of the best duos in basketball, this is the one where the fit's the biggest question. There is no question on LeBron, Anthony Davis. When healthy, there's no question on Steph and Clay. We believe there's not much of a question on Kawhi and Paul George. And Russ is top 20 guy. But there are other guys in that top 20 that are obviously a better fit with Harden. If the Rockets had their druthers, they would have rather had Paul George than Russ, who's around the same time. They maybe would have rather had Jimmy Butler, even though I think Russ is a better player than him. Like there are other guys that are obviously better fits. So it is a question of the coach's ability to get through to him and these two guys' ability to recognize we both have to give some. And that is the big question. Because your question about talent or chemistry, Jenna, in the NBA this year, you're going to need both. There's 10 teams with a ton of talent. Which team's talent plays the best and works the best together, that's the team most likely to be champions. The Rockets are in the game now talent-wise. Will they be in the game chemistry?
Just like we started this show, Jenna. Went for the talent. Let that chemistry thing come on.
It just took a little bit. No, exactly right.
Coming up, did Kawhi Leonard intentionally mislead the Lakers in free agency? Yeah, I took that. Thank you so much. That's
good. Start with the talent.
That's still ahead on First Things.